low, so not so much happened throughout November. To start off, we'll go over Airborne, which surprisingly was able to almost double their member count, although unfortunately despite gaining these new members, very few of them actually ended up becoming NCOs, with many of them just assigned to stay as enlists. And moving on to the rank distribution, you can see much of the same. They were able to gain 2 new officers, although other than that, they're still stuck with really high enlist numbers compared to everything else. Now moving on to the event totals, I want to clarify what did and didn't count as a valid logged event towards the following graphs. The only events that counted were pair drops, combat trainings, deployments, tryouts, and basic trainings. So all your scrims, Pathfinder events, TPCCs, etc. did not count towards the following graphs. On top of that, something that Airborne does vastly different compared to pilots is they log events that got no attendees, as well as letting NCOs attend events, which for reasons I would take too long to explain, I will not be counting these events. The reason I am mentioning this is because throughout November, these rules disqualified over 150 events. Even with these disqualifications though, you can see Airborne was still able to maintain a pretty high event frequency. Moving on to the tryouts and basic trainings, I do also want to point out another thing that may be confusing. I do not count basic training announcements in the announced category, although I do still count them in the logged and members gained categories. This is because basic trainings are only hosted upon request, and so tracking their announcements serves no real purpose. And moving past that to this chart specifically, something that this graph doesn't really communicate well is that Airborne has mostly stopped hosting tryouts, with almost all these members gained coming from basic training, which is not great, especially when there are only 2 Airborne who are even hosting basic trainings. Now with the losses on the other hand, this is actually really good, and not to spoil, but pilots does even better. Overall, November actually saw the lowest losses compared to any month this year. Onto the host of the month, Trasher hosted the most, unsurprisingly. Due to the aforementioned rules on what events I do and don't count, this will vary from the host of the month posted by Airborne. Moving on to the host distribution, back in October, the top 3 hosts made up 2/3 of all events hosted in Airborne. Meanwhile, in November, the top 3 made up a little more than 50%, which is better but still not very good, as once again, if one of these guys leaves, then suddenly that's a 3rd or 4th less events being hosted. Lastly, for the promotion distribution, it's okay but still not great. You don't want almost 3/4 of all your promotions being handed out by 2 people. This is actually why I created a promotion bot for both Airborne and pilots, in which all you need to do is type /promote then a username, and then it'll rank them, post a promotion log, and update the Trello, as well as adding a feature in which you can schedule a promotion in cases where someone completes their promotion requirements but hasn't finished their cooldown yet. And although this has made ranking people way easier and faster, we still do overall have a large issue with very few people making up the vast majority of all promotions handed out. With that, we'll go over pilots. Now pilots didn't have as much of an increase in member count compared to Airborne, but in contrast with the several months where we lost people overall, I'd say that this is still a win. And as far as the ranks go, it's even better, as not only did we gain a lot of senior NCOs, but we now have the most officers we've had all year at 7. Rank distribution shows the same thing, with the only big issue pilots is facing being a lack of active enlists. As far as the trainings go, we were able to maintain a very stable amount of trainings all month, although near the end of the month, we began to run out of active enlists, so the events logged kind of flatlined a bit. Tryouts is about the same thing, although unlike Airborne, the pilots are still hosting lots of tryouts. As mentioned prior, in terms of losses, pilots did even better than Airborne at 14 members lost, and obviously over 50% of losses coming from desertions isn't great, but a win is a win. For host of the month, we got the legend Decaminic, and for host distribution, I mean, see for yourself, this might be the best host distribution we will ever see. Now what isn't amazing though, is the promotion distribution, because despite having 7 officers and giving all Trello Manager NCOs access to the promotion pot, pilot still has worse distribution than Airborne. Onto the officer polls. I got an average of 9.03, Russ got an average of 5.2. Moving on to Airborne, Aiden got a 6.13, Tresher got a 9, and here are the rest of the officers. For pilots, Fallfire got a 6.69, Gianni got a 7.5, and here are the rest. Now for the news of November. We had an inspection that went fairly well, with decent attendance. Past that, as mentioned earlier, we got a few new officers, and lastly, the activity quota will be suspended for all of December, and that's about it.
Reality is stuck with your presence, and the present is a present now.